Friendly greetings, Torley here with another venture into the musical laboratory that is mine. Today I'd like to show you Acoustic Refractions. It's by a guy named Jeremiah Savage, and I think that's a fantastic name for a sound designer. Kind of reminds me of those pulp novels with by Edgar Rice Burroughs or Conan the Barbarian. Just a really tough feel. But as you'll see here, there are 100 sounds, and a lot of them would work very well in such a fantasy landscape. For example, let's look at agitated dulcimer. It has a tone that reminds me of Orbital's The Box, which I believe used a dulcimer sort of sound too. And that's just the beginning, because each one of these sounds, and this sounds like an infomercial, not only has these knobs you can adjust, okay? Whoops, let me get back there. Where's all my stuff? I have not become, they're categorized too, so I'll just toggle this off. And as you can see in the background, the automation is changing. I'll show you a bit more with that later. Let's change to a different sound. There's a great variety here, and they draw from an esoteric. The stories behind this are fantastic. So, beer bottle flute. Oh, I like that little percussive. It's a little shiffy. And I can click here, and this lets you morph between the 8 sound variations. So 8 parameters or more, these other buttons stuff, are going to be changing in real time. So I'm going to hold down a sustained chord. And this is so badass. Let me show you what it can do for automation. I'll just move this down here. Actually, let me just click here. And I don't need that audio track. It's just here. And if I begin recording the automation, so for instance, and they'll all play back. It's all saved. All these parameters here, the variation morphs. And let's go ahead and try that. Whoop, forgot the notes. Let me go back to the beginning of the sequence where the notes strike. It's magic remote control. And what you aren't seeing here is I have the core hardware controller. That isn't required to make use of this, but it's greatly beneficial. Right now, I'm moving one of the knobs, and as you can see, the mouse isn't moving it. So I can control that. Just love bubbles. There's always to add grit. So you can make it more percussive, and now you can play a familiar tune like... Lots and lots of fun. Let's move on, shall we? Electric violin is one of my favorite. It's like literally electric. It sounds like someone shot... Well, you can hear it for yourself. Maybe good for a horror movie if I sustain this. Sci-fi movie. All these parameters. It's really cool. I really like the macro editing on this, moving the morph targets, because you don't have to change all 8, like all the 8 controller data in there. You just say, okay, slide from this to another one in 2 dimensions. Very cool. I have a thing for the XY. And we're going on now. We have junkyard bass, or bass. I like to say bass. Why is it pronounced differently? Never understood that. This would be good in dance music. It's really up to your imagination to contextualize and recontextualize where these sounds might belong. This sounds like playing liquid. It's so fluid. It's beautiful. And I love how each one of these knobs, it's not like just a generic parameter 1, but it says drops. So you can make it more bubbly, less bubbly. Become something very weird like this. For all your alien planet adventures, you can go from straight harmonics, stretched tuning or whatever, to bizarre outer space. Oh, it sounds kind of Chinese, doesn't it? All manner of stuff. You can keep exploring this. And music boxes is one of my favorites because a lot of music boxes, sample ones I hear, they don't have character. It's like, well, it sounds like a recording that was frozen in an unpleasant way without flexibility. But here you have not only these 8 settings, it sounds really gorgeous. It doesn't quite sound, it's like somewhat, it's like a pseudo alternative universe music box. So recalling Candyman, soundtrack by Philip Glass. Haunting, 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 and again, macro. You owe it to yourself to play the macro. And Core does have a free player, which I do believe works with these sound packs. So if you even get that without the hardware controller, that's an affordable way to really get started. But I think this is where not just the future, but the present of exciting sound design. There are too many libraries out there that sound alike. And another feature that I'm really fond of here are the names. They correspond. They're roughly analogous to something you would expect, like a propane tank. It sounds like that. More tuned and pitched, true. Rain Blade. Let's see what that sounds like. It's just loading up here. This could be like a trance thing if you did an arpeggio. Lots of magic. Radio Weaves has a sort of static and tuning, which, or not this one. Maybe it's not this one. Oh, there we go. It's got a crisp note to that. Very, very nice. Lovely, lovely. It's, like I said, it's a symphony of instruments from another world, another planet that stepped into here. And it's like we call it a piano, but it's not quite a piano. Got a little carried away there. It just moved me. That's the thing of a sound that I judge it based on. I bring up the patch and then I play it, and if it speaks to my heart, it's gonna come up with a melody like that. It's gonna be beautiful, be freaking gorgeous. So yeah, this is sort of a typewriter. Oh, it reminds me of one that's earlier alphabetically. Oh, Hypnotic Writer. That's the one. Let's see if you recognize this reference. Some of these are like pads, but you can change the tact, so they can be used different ways. And this is the big, big key. Like I've been saying all along, it evolves the sound. You come up with ways to shape it and reform it. So this is a taste of Acoustic Refractions by Jeremiah Savage. It's a wonderful collection. My first Core sound pack, but I've played with many, many sound packs, banks, presets, libraries, sample CDs, DVDs over the year. And this year's plural, rather. And it really stands out. A lot of beauty. So to conclude this, I think I'll just pick some and I'll just play them.